Okay, guys.
What's happening?
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you feeling about the marine meta?
Not good, to be honest.
Yeah, not good. The games I played this week were brutal. I was trying to look back at the lists I was making before Armor Contempt. The point, yeah, I mean, maybe not good is harsh, but I guess my point is, and I guess I wanted Death Company and Sanguinary Guard lists with nothing else in them to go away. Well, I guess those are gone, right? Like that is not a good list anymore. Echo.
Cool. Thanks for that.
That should be it fixed. Hello. Okay, I was going to be a bit earlier streaming, but had a bit of a home disaster. Anyway, I've got some heavy intercessors. I do like the idea of heavy intercessors at 1 of 15 points. I'll give you that. And here's an assault intercessor I made today with a thunderhammer and a plasma. Because, I mean, I guess it's free, right? So. But overall, I'm very disappointed, I guess, with the changes. The changes are going to help some of the shooting factions. I think Iron Hands have had a giant boost. I struggle to see who else has come out really net positive. Black Templars have probably had a boost as well. If you take the... I forget the name of their survivability oath. So BTs and Iron Hands have had a very good improvement. Blood Angels are hurting. We're going to be hurting again. The list I'm going to run to this tournament is going to bring back Dreadnoughts, and I'm probably going to run an Impulsor because they're cheap, and 2 wound Marines with toughness 4. Generally just don't survive anything, it feels like. In the 2 games I played, most of the time I just didn't get a save with my Death Company anymore. Like, so your Death Company just don't get to make saves anymore 50 or 60% of the time. And your Firstborn Marines don't get to make saves anymore either, so I fail to see how 100 points makes up for not being able to ever make armor saves, but I mean, I guess that's where we stand. I think it's going to hurt us. Archangel's got a nice boost. Why? Because they can... Because the doctrine change or something else? Yeah, I've been getting the buff the whole game long. The Age of the Assault Terminators come. Yeah, I mean, just off topic here, I got some old... these are the... What are these guys called again? Space Marine Heroes. These were Space Marine Hero Terminators on the bases. Oh shit, don't drop them. Don't drop them. But I converted them with like Blood Angel's Terminator shoulder pads that I had. And this is a 3D printed Blood Angel shield. And then I guess I stuck this blood drop thing. I don't know where that came from. Put that on top of it. So, yeah, Assault Terminators with Thunderhammers. I don't know how many of them I own, but I think I need more of them. How often have any of our units survived attacks? Well, more often. They definitely survived more often when you at least got an armor save. Now, the 2 games I played this week, Mike, were absolutely brutal. Eldar just ripped me apart. In both games I played, I didn't score any primary points in turn 1, 2, or 3 in either game. Like I just didn't have any durability in my list. Couldn't hold anything. Anything that I put on an objective just instantly got mopped up and killed. I mean, that'll happen if you don't get any armor save, right? So yeah, my list was pretty heavy on Jump Marines. It was like 3 squads of Death Company, 2 squads of Sandguard. I think for my tournament next week, I'm just not going to run any Sandguard. I'm going to keep the Death Company because I'm doing Fury of the Lost. I'm not going to run any Sandguard. And I'm definitely not sold on Inceptors as a solution for that, because the way I really see Inceptors is that they have 1 damage. It's like, yeah, in the game I play, in one of the games I played, I was up against all -1 damage knights. So you think, oh, Inceptors are going to be great fire support. Well, they're not if they only do 1 damage. They're really not. Maybe if their plasmas were like 3 damage, like Tau. So yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna have to get more games in, but right now I think that, yeah, like where we were before Armor of Contempt, I guess it's where we are now, but with 100 points extra. And where we were before Armor of Contempt was we were really struggling as a Blood Angel faction. Before Armor of Contempt actually was when I started playing, like I played some games on my stream as Black Templars, just because I felt like the Black Templars rules were actually quite a bit stronger than Blood Angels, which is a little bit depressing actually. But anyway, I mean, I'll make a bunch of guys with the extra killing power, but I don't think extra killing power is what we need. I think what we needed, or what we need, is basically armor. Like, we need units that survive. Like, you know, I get that. Like, so I can put 5 more Infernal Pistols on my Sandguard, and I can take Power Fists so that they do more damage against high toughness stuff, and etc, etc. But like, I wasn't really complaining about the damage output on Sandguard previously. Like, that wasn't my issue, right? Like, I don't think many people were going, oh geez, my Death Company don't do enough damage, I need some more upgrades in terms of like what weapons they have, right? Like, that's not what people were saying. I think. I mean, that's how it felt. I've only played 2 games. Other Space Marine chapters definitely got better. Yeah, I'm struggling to see much positive for Blood Angels out of these changes. Like, yes, you can run a few more attack bikes. Yes, you can get slightly cheaper troop units. Yes, we can, I guess, run more elites. But, like, Sangre Guard took a big nerf, right? Like, Sangre Guard stayed the same points and essentially lost survivability. And like I said, I don't think anyone needed Sangard to have more damage. We need them to survive. Most of the time, you run like a 6 or 7, you charge in, you kill what you're going to kill anyway, and then they all die, or maybe 1 or 2 of them alive, and then maybe you can resurrect them. Well, now probably just none of them are alive, so there's no resurrection. It just makes them weaker. We can be strong in boarding actions. I think Terminators with Storm Shields might be the saving grace, because they're really cheap now, right? They do not want to super buff Blood Angels. I mean, they definitely didn't buff Blood Angels. I think it's a nerf. I think it's like a 5% nerf. For Sangre Guard, it's probably like, it probably equates to like a 5 or 10% nerf. Having a little bit more killing power doesn't make up for the fact that all the units just die much quicker. They generally kill, like, you can calculate your charges and generally kill what you need to with Sandguard. So I feel like Sandguard got weaker. Death Company got quite a lot weaker. Once Fury of the Lost is gone, which I guess like Fury of the Lost will be gone next Saturday, when like after this event that I've got next week, there'll be no more Fury of the Lost. I can't see myself running 3 Death Company anymore, I think. It's hard. I just think that like the Death Company have definitely lost a lot of survivability, and Thunderhammer Terminators are so cheap. So like 5 Death Company with Thunderhammers against 5 Terminators with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields, there's only like 10 points in it now, right? The Terminators have 1 extra wound per guy. They also have a Storm Shield, which just is like way better than the Terminator, the Death Company armor. So like, maybe there's still a play where you could run a Hammer squad and like that Infernal Pistol squad, but I don't think you'll see, or I don't think I'll run I don't think I'll run 3 squads of Death Company anymore. Like, I think I'll replace 1 squad of Hammers with Thunderhammer Terminators. I think I'm gonna actually have to buy more Thunderhammer Terminators. I don't think I've got 10 of them. I think I've got 8, awkwardly. So I guess I could run 2 squads of 4 and then like have a Lightning Claw guy in each squad. But I mean, I love making those Blood Angels Assault Terminators. If you've never bought the kit, then the kit comes with some really cool Blood Angels shoulder pads. Like, all my Blood Angels Terminators have like cool shoulder pads that you might not normally see. Cool Blood Angel shields. They have unique Thunder Hammers, which I guess you could also use for some sort of captain. Well, I guess I could probably proxy my Captain Carlian model as a Thunder Hammer Storm Shield Terminator. So, because I actually ripped off his bolt gun and just gave him a Storm Shield because I guess at some point in the meta I decided that I didn't think the Storm Bolter on Captain Carlian was worth it. I'd rather he just lived. Maybe this is just a thing. The way I like to play is I like my units to live. I'm worried that a full Terminator squad won't have enough units for OBS. What's OBS? What do you mean? Corky, what do you mean? Sorry. Flowbrain says, I think we've got worse because other Space Marine chapters got better. I think Aggressors could get some play now, yes, because they are very cheap. I like the costs of Aggressors now. I still think there's maybe a bit of a trouble to deliver Aggressors, but Iron Hands got the best of it. Yeah, Iron Hands will be the strongest. I'm going to play Iron Hands on Wednesday night, and I'm fully expecting to get absolutely rocked. I don't think we have... I don't think Iron Hands will dominate the meta, but they're definitely going to shoot back up in win rate for sure. And I think, at least in my previous experience playing Iron Hands, when they had Doctrines, like when they could stay in their Doctrines or whatever, then yeah, that'll be a really difficult matchup. I don't think I can beat it. I definitely don't think my all jump unit squad would beat it, but I don't think my new list will beat it either. Yeah, a bit of a frustrating one for me in that, like, the rules come out whenever the points cost came out like this week, and then I've got an event which the cut-off for the list is the 9th. So I've got like one more day, and I don't have another game to play. I've just got one more day to figure out a list. And the Armor of Contempt the change there is just such a huge change. It changes everything for Marines. Maybe have one last look at what lists were I'm sad about Fury Lost. Yeah, me too, in a sense. If I go onto my YouTube channel, Fury of the Lost, sorry. So between December 2021 and April 2022, there's basically only one Blood Angels list that I reviewed that got 6th place in a tournament out of 34. Who was that by? Whose list was that?
Like that just video.
Let me just check. That was someone that I've not heard of before, Ben Carlson. So yeah, like basically in a 4-month period before Armor of Contempt came out, Blood Angels just didn't podium in events in general, it seems like. And I was looking back at my lists in that period, and all my lists look weird. Like, they're all like double Dreadnoughts with some Sandguard and some Vanguard veterans, but I don't really remember any of them being too brilliant. Yeah. For starting the hobby, would Assault Intercessor box and paints be a good idea? I think Phobos troops are going to be much more desirable than Assault Intercessors right now, Pally K. I've used Phobos troops and said that they're the best troops for a long time. I actually have a box of them on my shelf back here. Right up at the top there. You might not be able to see it behind my head, but Primaris Infiltrators or Primaris Incursors are what they're called. You can paint them with yellow helmets if you so desire for Blood Angels. But yeah, they're possibly going to be the best troop. Well, they are the best troop choices. few of the points for full boss, I generally recommend you take full boss. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could get a starter edition that includes some of the rules. I think it would be fun if we got Death Company Centurions. I mean, paint your Centurions like Death Company if you want. I mean, that can be fun. White Scars look super buffed. What buffs White Scars? I'm trying to think what actually gives, but I mean, they still need to get to Assault Doctrine to be strong, right? They've got no way of getting there quicker, have they? Boarding actions, playing only Terminator squads won't have enough units to hold objectives. Yeah, but Terminator squads are so cheap, so I think you could run like 2 units of Terminator squads, which would be like 330 points. You could run a cheap unit of troops, which we have access to now for sure, which are like Incursors for 85 points, or Assault Intercessors for 75 points, I think. Or I think it's 90 for the Incursors, sorry, and 85 for the Assault Intercessors. At that point, if there's only 5 points between them, I 100% say take the Incursors, because I think there used to be 10 points between them. So squad of Incursors for 90, 2 squads of Terminators for 165 each, leaves you 80 points. 80 points will get you a character. I think you could take like you could definitely take a few different characters at 85 points. Or 80 points, sorry. We pull up the balance status slate. I don't remember off the top of my head what where is it? Here we go. I need to actually favourite this point article, so I don't have to try and find it in Warhammer community every 6 months or whenever I want to look at it. I'll do that just now actually, because I was thinking about that earlier. 80 points for Marines. Well, a captain's 85 points, so you couldn't have that. You could have your Primaris Lieutenant in at 65 points with a Storm Shield and Neo Volkite. I don't mind that. You could have you could have a Librarian, 80 points. You could have a Chaplain, 70 points. You could have a Primaris Captain, 80 points. There's no mention of the war gear in that Primaris Captain, actually, so you could have like the Primaris Captain with like a Power Fist and Plasma Pistol might be a good option. We don't see that Captain played too often, but he has a cool model. So you've got a Captain, 2 squads of Terminators and a squad of troops in boarding action for 500 points right on. Just download it? Oh, can you actually download the PDF? Oh, that's a good idea. Thanks, DTM. Points. I always click PDFs and they just open in Chrome and then realise that never download them. Okay. Burning the Midnight Oil. Yeah, I mean only because my kid decided to pee the bed and I didn't get to start streaming earlier. So I've had that to contend with tonight, so that's been fun. Me and my wife have actually been watching through Fear the Walking Dead, which is like the sequel or spin-off to Walking Dead. And Walking Dead got so shit there at the end, I felt like. If you haven't watched Fear the Walking Dead, once you get a few seasons in, I actually genuinely think it's better than Walking Dead. So, yeah, I think we're on like season 5 now? I don't know. Been a lot. Apparently they're just spinning off Walking Dead constantly. Did you see the pics of Dante from Ark of Omens? Yeah, I don't know. His armor looks a little bit different in the picture, but like it's hard to tell if it's purposefully different or if it's just like an artist painting it differently. I don't know what I think. Do you have any more information on that? Was Miguel asked that? The Dread era was bad for us, but Dreads are still weak. Well, Dreads for Iron Hands are not weak. And Iron Hands will get... Yeah, I mean, like, we're going to see Iron Hands lists with Astraeus's, because Astraeus is going to get a 6-up Feel No Pain. It's going to stick in Heavy Doctrine, so it's going to get extra AP for the entire game. And then they'll run Volcons, which are going to get AP for the entire game. They're going to... I think you're honestly going to see, like... You're going to see Iron Hands lists. Let's not lie. We're gonna see Iron Hands lists. They are kind of the most survivable Marines because they get that 6-up feel no pain, right? Against everything, I think. So you're going to see like an Iron Hands list that's going to be like a Primaris Tech Marine, like probably 2 or 3 Leviathans or Redemptors, 2 squads of Devastators maybe in drop pods, an Astreus, the good old venerable Dreadnought with like twin las cannon. He may even be able... I don't know, can the Iron Hands still make that Dreadnought a character so you can't even shoot back at it? The Judiciar is 75 points, yeah, but the Judiciar is not a HQ choice, right? So like if you're a detach... Oh yeah, that would be okay actually. You don't have to take a HQ, yeah. So you could run the 2 Terminator squads in the Judiciar. That's an option, yeah, Mike. Good point. The rumours of Primaris Dante are abundant right now. Yeah, they've been abundant for a while. I'm trying to think. I think like when the Primaris Mephiston, there was actually it actually came out the sort of same time that there was a book about him going Primaris. I'd kind of had hoped that they were going to do that with Dante. There was a new book that released today about the Flesh Tearers. Unfortunately, I didn't check Games Workshop's website till like 10:30. Kind of just had a busy morning and time got away from me, and by the time I actually checked Games Workshop's website, of course it was sold out, so that's a little bit frustrating. Did anyone get their hands on the new hardback book about Gabriel Seth and the Flesh Tearers? I imagine it's going to release next Saturday, but it was pre-order this morning. I did look to see if they have the softback one, but I guess we'll have to wait for that. It wasn't mentioned. Why have I not mentioned the free Stormbolter in the Whirlwind? I mean, there's a free Hunter Killer in the Whirlwind. I didn't realise that before my game. Against who did I play? Gavin Miles. I mean, yeah, if the Whirlwind survives till later on and you can poke its nose out, then it actually has a free Hunter Killer missile on there as well, I guess. I was kind of wondering if, like, I should just run a shitload of Predators, right? I don't know. The Bile Predator seems like it might be okay at 110 points now. But, so we've got more options than last time when we had no Armour of Contempt, because stuff has come down in points and stuff is cheaper. But I remember that 6 months before Armour of Contempt being absolutely brutal. Because all the other factions had their codexes, everything was like feeling really strong, Marines were feeling like their armour was paper. It was almost laughable how easy Marines were to kill, and like getting 100 points extra. Oh man, like I got beat so hard by Miles' Eldar yesterday, and when we talked about after the game, Miles said to me, he was like, the last couple of times that me and Miles have played, it's been really close, and I think he even said that maybe I won like the last 2 times, which is crazy because his Eldar list does so much damage. Like, it did so much damage even into my Armour of Contempt list, right? And I knew it did a lot of damage, but I guess like having those extra units maybe made me feel like, right, I can push out a little bit more, I've got a little bit more units, I can probably afford to lose a bit more, and I just got shot. Like, I was tabled in like... By the end of turn 3, I had nothing left except like maybe my incursors that were hiding and my infiltrators were hiding. It was just like, it was just disgusting how quickly all my stuff died. And that's after, you know, Miles saying that I beat him last 2 times or something. 3 land speeders are still nice. I mean, yeah, but they'll die to, like, when. Here's the thing, right? When Marines were getting hit with -2 AP before, it felt pretty okay, right? Because it was like, alright, -2 I'm saving on a 4, 50-50 chance. I feel like I have pretty decent survivability against -2, and on some of your characters, -2 was basically giving them, like... You could still get, like... My bike captain could get hit with -2 and still be saving on 3s and stuff like that, right? What was the score yesterday? Miles beat me 93-33. Only scored points with like Fury of the Lost because he killed all the Death Company, and on shock tactics I did like one time. I couldn't hold anything. I couldn't hold everything. Every time I put like Death Company or Sandguard onto an objective, he just cleared them off. Imagine Tau Crisis shooting now. No saves against all the 40 shots they have. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, people were saying like, oh, we've got more stuff. And I was like, yeah, but we're literally, like, half the time as a Marine player now, you just, like, if you're playing into a meta-ish list or a tournament list by someone who has built it to be a tournament list, half the game you're just not going to get to throw an armor save. Unless you change, you know, the core units Blood Angels players take, you're just not going to get to throw an armor save. And I mean, you know, I find it hard to see how 100 points makes up for half our army suddenly not getting to throw an armor save. So half the time it's like, oh, Death Company, that's -3, or sorry, that's -4, just lift them off, you know? Because, I mean, like, yeah, you can feel no pain, I guess. So maybe one guy survives out the squad of 5. But yeah, it was yesterday. So yesterday was a bit of a rough experience. I'm supposed to be playing Iron Hands or Votan. Andrew's going to pick whichever is strongest for me on, because I think Andrew's playing Iron Hands tomorrow against Colin on Plastic Crackheads, and I honestly think he's probably going to. I've seen his list ideas, and he's basically rolled it back to, you know, the whole army gets to move and fire heavy weapons with no penalty and -1. There'll be tons of multi-maltas, there'll probably be Eradicators, there's probably going to be Astraeus, there's probably going to be a bunch of Dreadnoughts, there may even be some Gladiator... No, not Gladiator. Repulsor Executioners. Just like a ton of really high toughness stuff that deals out a ton of damage. And you probably run... It'd probably be quite heavy on Dreadnoughts as well, because he likes the -1 damage that they give as well. And then, you know, the whole army has that in Bun Save. Sorry, not in Bun Save. The whole army has that Feel No Pain as well. So, you'll be able to see, you'll be able to witness me get murdered on Wednesday, basically. Have you considered running Plasma Inceptors now? They seem like they're really good. I ran them yesterday. They were so underwhelming it wasn't even funny. I've tried Plasma Inceptors myself a bunch of times. I genuinely don't like them. I don't know if it's just because I only run 3. I have had more success running Bolter Inceptors previously over Plasmas. It's a pity they didn't fix the Bolter Inceptors cost and make them like 30 points per model or even 25. Then I'd probably run them. But I don't like Plasma Inceptors. I actually used what is the stratagem? Descent of the Angels? I actually used Descent of the Angels both times yesterday when I dropped my Plasma Inceptors, so that they were hitting on 2s, and both times their damage was super underwhelming. One time I think they killed like 3 Swooping Hawks, which is like maybe like 75 points of Eldar stuff. And the other time they did like 4 damage to an Armiger. Maybe 5. Maybe it was 5 damage to an Armiger. But, you know, for 120 points and spending CP to make them more effective... I mean, maybe if you run shitloads of them. But I don't have shitloads of them. I only got 3 of them. I'm not a big fan of Plasmas in general. If I was going to run... I mean, I probably personally, I prefer attack bikes. I've run attack bikes a lot. Them going down 10 points makes me think of them more than Plasma Inceptors, but yeah, they get 18 shots if you target a 6-man unit. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, like, most people are playing MSU, right? Like, what unit is going to have what unit is going to be, you know, you play Death Guard, they're not going to run big squads of guys. You play other Marine factions, they're not going to run big squads of guys. You play Sisters of Battle, they're not running big squads of guys. So, like, what, you know, what's the situation? I mean, maybe Necrons might have like... My experience of playing Necrons is they'll have like one big warrior blob. So you've got like one target on the board that the Inceptors will get their 18 shots against. Most of the rest of the time you'll have to roll the dice, right? I don't know. I've run Plasma Inceptors like on 5 games, and you know, like I ran them yesterday at 120 points. I wasn't impressed. I'll run them again if people really want me to, but I think I'd rather risk, you know, pay the extra points for a squad of Terminators and risk the fact that they need to do a charge. Blood Angels tend... Maybe it's just me. My Blood Angel shooting phases always tend to be underwhelming. AOC No More brings back Librarian for non-vulnerable units, says Dark Ginger. Yeah, I actually think that, like... Firstborn Librarian with a jump pack may actually kind of... That list where it's like... Tech Marine, couple of Dreadnoughts, Firstborn Librarian. Like I was actually kind of tempted to run that into this event because durability is... I like building lists around durability. I think like the way I see it is like it's always like if your model, like let's say like you survive one more turn, usually whatever upgrades you might have paid for on that character will be less valuable than doing a bit more damage and surviving one less turn. I guess a good example of that would be like, you'll never see me run like the Hammer of Baal on any of my lists, right? The Hammer of Baal is basically just a souped up Thunder Hammer. I think it's got +1 strength, +1 AP. I'll always run Armor Indomitus, or before Armor Indomitus I was running the one, I think it's called, fuck, it's been a while. It's not Artificer or Armor. It's the one that gave the captain +1 wound, +1 toughness. So it made your bite captain toughness 6, and gave him +1 wound, right? So like I always think that like, you know, if that one extra wound meant that he survived one more turn and he had one more whole round of combat, that's always going to be better than having like +1 strength, +1 AP on a gun that or on a weapon that lasts one less turn. That's the way I see it. And I mean, mathematically, I guess the thing is, like, if your character is going to hold on for one more turn, and that extra toughness and extra wound is going to make that happen, then that is going to be more valuable than having a better weapon. And that's kind of what they've done here, right? Like, they've said, oh, well, your Sangre Guard can have all these Infernal Pistols for free. Angel's Artifice, is that the one? I forget what it's called. It's the Chapter Master Relic. Yeah, maybe it is called Angel's Artifice. It's just weird that it's a Space Marine relic. You know, they've said, okay, so all your Sangre Guard can have better weapons, but like for me, the Sangre Guard's damage output wasn't like, I wasn't saying, oh, Sangre Guard don't do enough damage, or I wasn't saying Death Company don't do enough damage. So again, you know, the Death Company can get some extra upgrades in there for free, but they're just gonna, if most of the time before, most of the squad got wiped, now the whole squad's just getting wiped. You know, and it's why like nobody runs squads of 8+ Sangre Guard. If anything, most of the competitive tournament lists run smaller. Like I'd say like competitive tournament Sangre Guard lists are probably like sizes 6, maybe 7s. I mean, some people do like 3x7, but I think more common has been like 3x6 with Armor of Contempt. Because typically 6 Sangre Guard will kill whatever you send them at, and then they're gonna get, all of them are gonna die anyway when the opponent focuses them down. So having any more than 6 is just actually wasted points. So now you've got 6. They have better weapons, but they arguably didn't need better weapons because they killed whatever they charged anyway. And now they're less survivable. So before, maybe on a fight back, if the enemy were maybe killing 3 or half the squad, or maybe killing 4, well, now they're killing 5 or they're wiping you completely. So for me, I don't know. I we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I just have a really bad feeling that it's going to be 6 months of like. It's going to be 6 months of me being salty. I don't necessarily like being salty. I just hate being at the bottom of the win rate percentage for my one army that I play. I wish that they didn't do that and make one army obsolete for 6 months. And every time someone says Blood Angels have a fine win rate, you can screw off, because 48% win rate is not fine when we've had like other armies sitting at 60% this whole edition. Because that is an art. I mean, it's me being bitter against DTM, but honestly, if we've never had a 50% win rate this whole edition, why are we getting made worse? I guess we'll see. I mean, like, apparently one of the Tyranid lists went up 400 points. So, I mean, I guess that could change a few things. But I generally don't feel like, I don't feel like a 48% win rate is fine. They keep nerfing the top armies. They do. So finally, maybe they'll be pulled back down towards 50%. But they've been over 55%, 60% at this point for like a year. So it's a hard pill to swallow when you're on a 48% win rate, which is pretty low in the pack, and you've dropped again. Did they really get nerfed? Some of them, yeah. Tyranid players are pretty upset. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm going, like, where I'm basically at is, like, I'm going to a tournament next weekend. I've had no time to tweak or balance my list. I'm gonna have to just run. I'm gonna have to run like a list that I made 6 months ago with a few changes because of the points costs. I have zero confidence in it. I feel like I'm gonna let my teammates down. And yeah, I just have very little confidence right now. Which sucks, man. I kind of wish that this event hadn't decided to use the new points cost when we don't have the new book in our hands yet. Because, like, being told, like, I don't know when the new points costs were announced, like Thursday, and the list submission is like Monday. Because I got no time, so maybe I'm just upset about that as well. Tough, man. Tough. They nerfed Tyranids like 3 times in a row. Let's see if they finally drop between 50 and 60. I think they will this time. But I guess who knows. Evening, Robert. How you doing? But yeah, the 6 months before Armor of Contempt were brutal. I was really really frustrated in those 6 months, and yeah, I mean, when I look back on the channel, and that's when I was actually like, that's when I actually started running Black Templars for a bit, because I was so frustrated with the Blood Angels rules. I really don't want to have to run Black Templars again, man. Not that I don't like Black Templars, I just want to focus on my Blood Angels. Supreme, thank you so much for subscribing, I appreciate it. I mean, the only reason I ran Black Templars as well was because I read their codex and was like, oh my god, look at this codex compared to Blood Angels, it's just so much better. And I guess Armor of Contempt, it just helped us so much. It's going to be tough. But I think we're just going to have to move to durable units. Move back to some shooting. Like a couple of Dreadnoughts. Maybe a unit of Blade Guard Veteran. Maybe a unit of Terminators, 1 unit of Vanguard Veterans, just maybe 1 unit of Sanguinary Guard. Or maybe 1 unit of Death Company. Maybe something like that, I don't know. Blood Angels will drop in win rate. We had 46% because of Armor of Contempt and didn't have much problems. Now damage is less and survivability will drop us. Yeah, I think we'll drop. Atlas says Mephiston loses strength as well because he benefited from Armor of Contempt. That's very true due to his lack of Invuln. Yeah, we'll need to include more units with invulnerable saves. That's what's on the painting table here, is some Thunderhammer Storm Shield guys, and these are heavy intercessors that I've had for ages. I actually think, because Oath of Moment is coming back. If you're not aware yet, then Oath of Moment is coming back, and it's going to come back to the sort of strong form. I was going to say broken. Maybe it is broken, but we're going to need something broken based on these points changes, or where it's like if you hold the middle at the end of the battle round, you get 2 points again. So Oath of Moment's going to be back as like a solid pick for like 12 plus every game probably. Especially if you include some like units that can hold the middle that are quite cheap now, like aggressors for example. So I'm thinking heavy intercessors, sticky an objective, and then just head to the middle with the heavy intercessors. I do like that they finally did something with the troops, because the free upgrades on the troops is really nice. It makes troops for Space Marines just feel like a lot more viable. It actually makes me think like you could probably still run 3 troop choices in Arcs of Omen if you wanted. 2 or 3 would be fine. Are you sure Relentless Assault is getting removed? Relentless Assault is the only one we're getting to keep. All the other Blood Angels ones are gone. I think we'll still get access to the 3 Space Marine ones, but don't quote me on that. I ordered the book this morning, but I guess we'll not know until it arrives next weekend, sort of deal. Is my daughter okay? It sounded like you had a medical emergency. Yes, we did, Ben. Thanks for asking. No, it was it's fine. It was there's a thing that kids get when they have like a cold called croup, and basically it's just like swelling of their I think it's like swelling in their throat. It can happen, like if you're an adult and you have a cold, you can get swollen, but it doesn't really restrict your airway because there's just a lot more space. If you're a kid, it can actually like swell up and impact your breathing a bit. So they can fix it, accident emergency, in like 5 minutes with some steroids. She just had to go down and get some steroids. Fortunately, I knew what it was because she's had it before. So I don't know if they're gonna. I imagine they're gonna change Oath. I hope. I haven't fully read the rules for Oath. I'm hoping that they've changed it so it's not the end of the battle round and it's the end of your turn, because that would make more sense. I don't know if it is. I haven't fully seen exactly what Oath looks like now. Maybe use infiltrators to screen the middle early, and then drop assault terminators with thunderhammers and keep strike close. Yeah, I mean, infiltrators would be cool to screen the middle, yeah. Infiltrators with Gauntlet are actually kind of one of our best units now, surprisingly. Because the first time, if you have them in cover and stuff, the first time something sneaks through, you can just ignore it. I actually liked both infiltrators and incursors a lot. So I'm definitely going to probably be. I feel like I'm definitely going to be probably running 2 or 3 troop choices in the Arcs of Omen detachment. But yeah, I think the days of all Sangre Guard and all Death Company in a list are going to be far behind us. Like, unless the cover is brilliant and you're facing like a slow army, as if you're not, then I think that list is just going to get punished so hard. Well, I didn't like that list anyway. I thought it was kind of one-dimensional, but like, I kind of hoped that if they really hurt one of those two units, they wouldn't hurt the other one. But I think they've actually hurt them both pretty bad. I guess if you use those units as just like a pincer and never expect them to survive, you expect them to be a trading unit, and that's possibly okay. But the problem, I think, is you need something to hold objectives. And previously, Sandguard, if you put them in cover, 1-up save Armor of Contempt could do that. I guess now I feel like they probably can't. Especially if you come up against an enemy that can ignore cover. Like Sisters of Battle Retributors will... Sisters of Battle Retributors used to be saving on 5s. Now you'll be saving on 6s. Iron Hands, Multi-Meltas. You won't get a save because they'll be -5. Have I seen the artwork you've posted in Discord? No, my phone... before the stream, actually, my phone was on charge so that... it didn't run out of battery while I was streaming because it's my camera up here. Selfless Healer might make a comeback. I mean, it's better, but the Sanguinary Priest is still very expensive, isn't he? Could an Apothecary Selfless Healer be an option, though? I mean, the problem with... I was going to say, the problem with like a Primaris Apothecary is you give up the Assault Doctor and stuff, and I feel like the Assault Doctor and stuff is so core to what we do. That's why I was honestly thinking maybe there's a play here where bringing back a Thunderhammer Terminator every turn. Yeah, I mean, that's good. Also bringing back Centurions every turn, even Blade Guard Veterans every turn is good. I was honestly thinking, is there a play here where you go into the Firstborn and Libraria, Firstborn Librarian, and take the Psychic Fortress, and then play around like a couple of Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and you don't really go Assault until turn 3. Any of your Assault units maybe just chill for a couple of turns. I kind of hate that playstyle where you basically just have to spend 2 turns doing no combat, and you just don't want to be in combat. And the thing about that playstyle is you're always miles behind point wise. Like, you don't really start scoring points till turn 3. But I mean, it was one of the ways to win games before, I guess. I just don't know if I feel like I want to go back there. So the sticky objective stuff, Robert, only affects troops. So it's only troop units that are going to sticky objectives for you. So Plasma Inceptors will not sticky an objective. Just going to be your standard infantry that can do that. Or not standard infantry, standard troop units, I guess. Which is fine. And I mean, Plasma Inceptors should be able to be used, like you said, to bring down and hit like a less well defended objective. Like, that should be how you can use them. In practice, for me, it never seems to work for me. So, do you guys do blue helmets on heavy intercessors? Has anyone actually done heavy intercessors? Because I bought these guys like probably over a year. I think I had them actually before I moved house, and I've been in this house now for like 15 months. So yeah, I'm convinced I bought them actually before I moved house. I assume that most people would do them as blue helmets, but some people might just do them with red helmets. Kind of a weird one because the blue helmets are for heavy support, and technically they've got heavy weapons, and they're not really battle line. They're not really fast attack. I mean, if you think if Phobos get yellow helmets and assault intercessors get yellow helmets, then if these guys are heavy, then they should probably have blue helmets, right? Well, that's just the thing though, DTM. Yeah, a lot of people paint assault intercessors with yellow helmets and their troops. So by that logic, I think heavy intercessors should have blue. But I mean, that's up to you, I guess. If you, I was gonna say, I think I actually did my aggressors. Yeah, like my aggressors have red helmets. What color did people paint their aggressor helmets? Did people do aggressors in yellow? I did my Centurion helmets in yellow. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. What am I saying? I'm saying I don't have a clue. That's what I'm asking, I guess. Your army, your paint. Well, very true. Just asking what the consensus is. If there is a consensus, I guess. Infiltrators are speed to have blue helmets. I actually did my infiltrators with black helmets because I thought they were a bit like special ops. And I saw someone else do infiltrators with black helmets, and with their little antenna things. I thought it was really cool. So I don't conform to the standard rules, I guess. I just do what I think looks cool. Is there an issue with going full on red helmets? Not really. Just might sometimes giving them a different helmet breaks up the model a bit if it's just all red, you know. I honestly think I'm leaning towards blue for them. Also going to help you find them if you've got them all in a drawer or something and you're needing to get them out quickly, I suppose, if they've got... I have all my drawers like labelled, you know, like Sangregar, Death Company, but I'm really bad at putting them back into the wrong drawer after a battle. Just fucking chuck them back in, and then like 6 months later I'm like, oh god, why didn't I put them in the right drawer? Why do you have heavy intercessors, Mike? Did you buy them for a... Did you buy a kill team? Which bolt option do I go for? I mean, I just pick the coolest looking one, and then no one ever asks about that. Like if you run intercessors with the different loadouts, I don't even know which loadout is which, honestly. I just, like, if I want auto intercessors, I just write auto in the battle scribe list, and you take it to an event. No one ever gonna question that. I took this one that's got the big drum cannon. I don't actually know what the fuck gun that is. Yeah, these other ones have slightly different guns. But yeah, I just made it with the big. I just made it with something that looks cool. Cool army, no helmets. I hate painting faces, man. So I always pick helmets. I'm arguably a lot better painter than when I started and I couldn't paint. I think at the beginning I couldn't paint faces. I think that was the problem. Now I am a lot better painter, but I mean I am still painting with a broken arm, so mail me your Space Marines issue. JT, how you doing, bud? The problem is if you mail them to me, they'll sit in a shelf for 6 months. No, not even 6 months, probably 6 years at this point, because I've barely bought any new models since we have had kids. Like, probably on an average year before I had kids, I'd spend like $500 a year on models. Since we had kids, I'd probably spend like maybe $150, maybe less. I still have models. Like I said, these guys are like 2 years old, and I just picked them up for the first time today, so I definitely have at least like £200 or £300 worth of stuff completely unassembled, and I definitely have like I think at last check it was about £1,000 of stuff completely unpainted. Now it's probably like £800. I mean, it's kind of stupid. And I only do one army. I can imagine people that do multiple armies. I wish I could paint more, honestly, but I gotta go to work and earn a living and all that nonsense, you know? Mike says, since you've had kids, you spend way more money paying you to paint them. I mean, that's true, Mike. At least you get to see all the cool models on stream, right? Does your heavy intercessor have a Crux Terminatus on his shoulder pad? He does, yeah. I don't like. I think it's because I think that's because I want this guy to be the sergeant. So I think I found. I think this must have been a Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pad. He's the only guy in the squad that's got one. So it must have just because. Yeah, because he's got this extra little blood drop thing that didn't come on the sprue, stuck on the back of his jump pack as well. So I just try and put a little bit onto them to make them more Blood Angels, I guess. Monkey Llama's sitting on about £2,000 unpainted. Alright, you win, Monkey. What's your ETA for, like, if you start tomorrow and you get £2,000 of unpainted stuff, when you finishing it? This heavy bolter did indeed already have its barrel drilled, because I definitely did not drill it. In Battle Sector you see aggressors with blue helmets, since there's technically fire support role in the codex. Nice, Jacob. So then I painted my aggressors with the wrong colour helmets. Great. 8 years. Okay. And how old are you right now? It's going to say at least... I don't feel so bad if you say it's going to take you 8 years to do that. I reckon that, like, I paint somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 points of stuff a year. It was definitely over 2,000 before I had kids. Since I had kids, it's more between 1 and 2. Does Warhammer sell well on eBay? I mean, it does. Right now, some of the stuff, because of all the changes they just announced, yeah, some stuff has been selling crazy well. Highly painted stuff actually can sell for like insane money. And it doesn't even have to actually be well painted, just some people just want it painted so they don't have to do any work on it. I sprayed my Star Wars Legion today, so I finally got to the end of the... We go back to work on Monday, and I'd hoped to do a little bit more with the Legion over the holidays. I probably just had unrealistic goals of how much I was going to get painted. Well, I mean, I set my goals of how much I was going to get painted before I broke my arm, so but I did get 3 units of Legion models made, and I did get them all painted, so I'm pleased about that at least. I am, like, my mission for like 2023 needs to be like play 1 game of Star Wars Legion, because I didn't play a single game in all of 2022, not one. I think I had too many Warhammer tournaments. I never had a... I think my problem is like the chapter approved the seasons of just like 6 months. Just by the time I'm getting a handle on it, they I feel like then they change it. 42k Tuber's son is 5 months old and he feels like he's lucky if he gets an hour. Yeah, I since I've had kids, I'm probably just painting like 3-4 hours a week tops now. But before it was like I could do 3-4 hours in a single night. Just while my wife watched stuff on Netflix, I'd just be sat there painting. There'll be a point where I can do that in the living room again, and the kids won't want to like pick up my models or knock paints over. So when that happens, that's gonna be great. I guess the kids will have to be like, I don't know, 5 or 6 or something, old enough that they can actually understand that when no means no. So at the moment, my 3-year-old, you tell her no, and then 2 seconds later she does it anyway. So. Speaking of bits, anyone knows when GW restocks? It's the end of every month. I definitely need to go buy bases. I don't know. I would look on third party, man. A lot of the third party stuff always have bases, like even the official GW ones. Do you just prefer buying them from GW, or? I pretty much exclusively buy third party if I can, because the third party stuff is like, well, like from GW today, it was like, do kids ever listen? No. Okay, don't tell me that. From GW today, the boarding party train is like 130, whereas like on Element Games, it's like 104. So yeah, literally 20% off if you go to Element Games for the boarding party terrain. Arcs of Omen from Element Games was only like 1452. The chapter approved book. I assume Games Workshop it was like 1750, was it? So it was probably cheaper to get the book and get it posted than it would have been to go walk down and buy it at the store. My 11-year-old still needs to be told no 3 times. Oh, brilliant! Don't tell me that. I'm gonna have to work on my 3-year-old. I can't be repeating myself so many times. It drives me crazy, man. But yeah, so I've got this team event next weekend, and like, just don't know. I think I do want to try the Librarian and 2 Dreadnoughts and Psychic Fortress. It's usually pretty good. Most of the postage costs are shit to delivery to Ireland. Is that just because of Brexit, or is it always like that? The trick is to order more stuff so it's free delivery. I mean, that is the trick, right? That's the dream, I guess. Trick or the dream, however you want to look at it. You shitty bone. Give the Librarian a jump pack. When I ran that list, I did give him a jump pack, right? Because you kind of have to make him. If you're gonna run that firstborn jump Librarian, you kind of have to make him the chief Librarian, because you're reliant on casting Psychic Fortress. Like if Psychic Fortress doesn't go off, and you're up against Tau or something, you're gonna have a problem, right? So like you need the +1 to cast for the Psychic Fortress. So to get Psychic Fortress, or to get Chief Librarian, you need to spend the CP. Or sorry, you need to spend the points to be the Chief Librarian, right? So then, by being the Chief Librarian, you can have 3 powers. So that means you can take Psychic Fortress, you can take Null Zone, and you can take Mighty Heroes. And Mighty Heroes is actually really nice when you team it up with Redemptors, because Mighty Heroes gives like +1 strength, which is irrelevant, but also gives +1. Well, I mean, it's irrelevant for Blood Angels, but it's good for some other factions. Gives +1 toughness and +1 attack. So basically, when you get into combat, your dreads have 7 attacks if you charge, which is cool, and their toughness 8. So you're adding you're adding survivability via Psychic Fortress. You're also, I mean, like, yeah, and then you're also adding survivability via Mighty Heroes, and you're adding combat potential too. So when I used to run that list, I was running a Tech Marine. There's many Invun ignoring stuff. Yeah, there is Invun ignoring stuff, but do we see it all that often? Like, I don't know if I've run into it all that often. Like, when I play Tau, they generally have, like, one hammerhead. And if they've got a hammerhead, then you just hide until you kill it, right? Who else has invulnerable ignoring guns? The big railgun? Is the railgun on the Hecatonk, or is that on all the Votan that have the railguns? I never thought of Psychic Fortress being less good. Leviathan time, says Marcus? I mean, I don't like... Well, Leviathans wouldn't have had points drops, will they? So, I mean, Leviathans essentially got nerfed because they used to have 2-up with Armor of Contempt, and now they just have 2-up with no Armor of Contempt. So if no one was running Leviathans before, have they not just got weaker? All Magna Rail, ignore them, okay. I came up with an interesting rule idea to improve survivability of vehicles. If targeting something with a vehicle keyword, if strength is less than toughness, success, wound rolls are re-rolled. I mean, we keep seeing videos on YouTube pop up about, like, the vehicle problem or whatnot. I don't know how they're going to address it. They're going to have to address it at some point, right? But I don't know how they're doing it. You'd send your idea into FAQ at Games Workshop though, Mike, because, I mean, they might listen? There are lots of melee monsters that ignore invulnerables, like the Incarn. Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of melee things that don't want to be in combat with a Dreadnought that's got D3+3 weapon, right? I honestly think with Armor of Contempt gone, Lightning Claws are back on the menu. Yeah, I'm really just disappointed that they didn't drop the points cost for the Vanguard veterans with Lightning Claws, and maybe that's the reason. I don't think they needed to be as expensive as they are. I wish the Lightning Claws were better. They look so cool. I mean, they're a lot better now, right? With no one having Armor of Contempt, they're pretty good again, right? And I mean, into Marines now. If you hit Assault Doctrine, they're only saving on 6s against Lightning Claws, and with Blood Angels, Lightning Claws will just wound all the time, basically. Blood Angels, Lightning Claws for Blood Angels also are really good into... Hey, Ramus, thank you so much for subscribing. Blood Angels for Lightning Claws are also really good into just about any armor. And even Toughness 8 armor, they're not bad. They're 50% chance to wound because you would wound on 5s because of the +1, and then you'd re-roll everything. So 33% chance, and then a 33% chance of 66, which is 50% chance to wound. So against Toughness 7, your Strength 4 Lightning Claw... it's going to wound on a 4, right? So 75% chance to wound Toughness 7 with a Strength 4 weapon. So Lightning Claws have got a lot better. They're one of the big winners here, I guess. Hey, Anton. the Catan ignores advance. The Catan's always ignored advance though, right? Like that's not like something that's new. Catan are a whole other problem. If you face Catan, you know, you get to deal with that other ways. The way that I usually like to try and deal with Catan is with the whirlwind and making them fight last. And I know it's not always reliable, but it's I mean it's you make them fight last, you make them try and have to fight some crappy units that you basically feed to them as decoy. Because they fight last, you can chip off some damage, and then it means that when you finally actually have to kill them, you can actually kill them because you chipped off some damage. To make a full boss Judiciar, is that even a thing? I mean, you probably want a full boss lieutenant or captain as the base model if you're trying to create a conversion of that. It was always kind of weird that lightning claws cost the same as swords and axes and they were flatly superior. I mean, they're only flatly superior to Blood Angels, right? Like, power swords for other factions. It's hard to break down the maths, I guess. But I mean, for Blood Angels now, if you have all your Vanguard veterans magnetized, you might not be bad running a squad of Vanguard veterans all with power swords, I feel like. Oh man, it's late already. I don't even feel like I've been streaming long, damn. Alright, I'm gonna stream till 12:30. So like 15 more minutes. Sorry I'm so late tonight, I just had a bit of a family thing going on again. Always seems to be the way. Am I going to be taking any dreads with the new costs? Yeah, probably 2. I think we need survivability and I guess or elites. I think we need survivability and shooting again. Because into some armies we can't trade melee into melee anymore, I guess. I saw that firsthand yesterday when I got absolutely destroyed by Eldar. And I don't even know if I feel like his army's that powerful into melee, but I mean, it still just destroyed me. They're flatly superior for all chapters. I guess it would be very, like, if you were fighting Marines into Marines, a power sword for Blood Angels versus a Lightning Claw is actually like very, very similar. Because Lightning Claw is 1 point less of AP, but you would wound on 3s re-rolling, whereas the power sword would have 1 more point of AP, but you just wound on 2s. So at that point, like, in that matchup, if the power swords are free, which they are, then you could argue that like power swords are the better choice because you don't have to pay 3 points per model. So in like, I guess in some matchups, power swords can kind of keep up with lightning claws or maybe even be better, but yeah, okay, maybe you're right on the overall DTM. The Pale King is finishing his Death Guard army. Thanks for tuning in tonight, Pale King. How are you doing? We got 55 people watching actually on YouTube tonight. Wow. Okay, that's a lot. Please, before you leave tonight's stream, guys, please hit that like button. It does always help me out so much. I do appreciate it. I'm just throwing together an assault intercessor with a plasma pistol and a power thunderhammer. Sorry, I was going to say power fist. What the hell? Because it's free. I'm probably still going to run the odd squad of assault intercessors. And I never built. I always said to myself, I need to build an assault intercessor with a power sword because no tactical marines being painted up. I don't think tactical marines have any play in the current meta. None at all whatsoever. They have no defensive stratagem, and They only have one attack. So I just don't see how you... Maybe for some of the other chapters, you could play them, but for Blood Angels, I don't see them getting any play. I don't see what they bring to the table. No, that nothing else can bring. I mean, I guess if you want to have a troop unit that has a las cannon or something and gets one shot per turn and can maybe score a random hit, and then some random d6 damage, that's what they bring. Would I rather have a unit that could, like, actually do something else? Probably. I mean, I got plenty of tacticals, don't get me wrong, I just can't see why I would run them. You only see them part as Devastators. Yeah, I think we'll see Iron Hand Devastators. I don't know if any other faction will run Devastators, but I think we'll definitely see some Devastators from Iron Hands. Iron Hands are going to be brutal. They're going to be -5 on so many weapons now, or -4 and stuff on so many weapons. If we play against Iron Hands, we're just going to have, like, no saves for half the game. Maybe even more than half the game. Unless you've got invulnerable saves, you're just not making saves. You're not even getting to roll dice. You're just, every time they wound you, the model is dead, or it takes the damage. That'll go for, like, Redemptor Dreadnoughts, that'll go for Death Company, that'll go for everything, I guess. So, I mean, if there's one faction that's the big winner from this balanced data slate, I'd say it's probably Iron Hands, right? Am I wrong? Did anyone disagree with that? Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to disagree. Okay. Yeah. Oh well. Maybe it'll be the return of the Iron Hands meta, huh? I think we are better more because of the nerfs. Some factions didn't get any nerfs though, right, Stephen? So unless you disagree that we didn't get nerfed, then we definitely got worse. I mean, DTM, you don't play Blood Angels. Do you think we got better or worse? Get an impartial view on it. Not my salty opinion. Yeah, Anthony says we got hit bad by the update. I mean, I don't think it's great, Anthony. I think we probably got maybe like 10% weaker, maybe, if I had to put a ballpark on it. It's like we do a bit more damage with some units, but we lost survivability right across the board. And I don't think the points drops that we got make up for the losses of survivability, really. Gut feeling, DTM's impartial. He doesn't play Blood Angels. He thinks we got worse. Okay, so maybe it's not just me that thinks we got worse. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough season or a tough 3 months until we get a balance. Because spamming 2+ Sangry Guard was easy and powerful. It certainly was. Spamming 3+ Death Company with Armor of Contempt was also easy and powerful. Because they did so much damage and they also had other built-in ways of surviving. And even though I don't necessarily like the stratagem, they did have a stratagem that added survivability. And that's one of the reasons that Firstborn struggle, right, for like Blood Angels in general. Like if the Sangry Guard had a stratagem that could improve their survivability at any point, then that would be kind of huge, right? But there isn't any stratagem you can play on Sangard to improve survivability. And that's one of the reasons that, like, I mean, you used to be able to transhuman anybody. It didn't used to only be Primaris units. I figured we'd be stronger in 10th when jump units are... Yeah, I mean, the next time we get a codex, I would hope we get stronger, because they'd have time to actually sit down and look at the codex and balance things out. But I guess when they're doing these like more broader changes, I guess it's very difficult for them to balance stuff out broadly, especially when there's so many different factions of Marines using similar units. Still think Sangry Guard should have their invulnerable save from the fact that they wear Artificer armor. I was actually thinking about that yesterday, Chrono, saying it's so, you know, because like when I was playing Miles, we were just chatting and I was like, you know that they wear Artificer armor, right? Where like everybody else that wears Artificer armor, it's a 2-up, 5-up. Yeah, I mean, just give Sangry Guard a 5-up and I'd probably feel like a 5-up invuln. I'd probably feel like a lot better about them. I think they probably should have it. I mean, if they wear Artificer armor, that's what the rules for Artificer armor is. They just seem to have forgotten that for Blood Angels. Or for Sangard, rather. There's lots of rumours about an Angels of Death Codex. Like, lots of rumours. I've heard so many rumours about it. It'd be great if there was one. Alright, I'm sorry that it started so late tonight, guys. I did plan to be on earlier, but yeah, just is what it is. So probably we'll aim to do the first army list show with new lists, or Armor of Contempt lists, non-Armor of Contempt lists, I guess, like next Sunday. I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow because it's the last night of the holidays. I probably need to spend it with the wife. So, yeah. Army List show will probably return next Sunday night. I'll have been at a GT at that point because I've got one next Saturday. Or this Saturday coming, I guess. So I guess I can give you my 2 cents on Army Lists after I've been to the GT, which would be useful. So if anyone, and also, I guess if anyone submitted a list in the last few weeks, and is expecting the list to be reviewed, then you need to resubmit it, because I guess all the points values will be wrong and everything will be out of date, so there's almost no point me going over it. So if you did submit an army list and you were waiting for it to be reviewed, please go ahead and like resubmit it, but it'll be next weekend probably that we're looking at them. Alright, 3 colours are on this character. He is ready to join the ranks for this tournament. If anyone says anything to me about my shitty 3 colours, I'm just going to say, well, I got a broken arm, so you're lucky there's 3 colours on it, honestly. No idea how to beat Metal Dark Angels now if we go second. Apparently the rumour is that we should have got turned to Assault Doctrine. That would be nice, Stephen, wouldn't it? There's a lot of combat that happens in the game earlier these days. And having to wait to turn 3 to get Assault Doctrine is really annoying. I mean, it just means that you have to run the Sanguinary Priest. And it's kind of like, sometimes I feel like you don't want to have to run a Sanguinary Priest, but you have to. Which is a little bit annoying. Currently painting a Relic Templar with the Twin Volkites, says Kane. Nice. I might actually see some play now. I'm probably going to run one to the tournament next week. Broken arm trumps all arguments. It does. It does actually, yes. Just means... yeah. I was like, I could have got a lot more colours on it, but yeah. Broken arm. Tough shit. Alright guys. Brother Corbelow means Assault Doctor in turn 1. Yeah, sure, within... I mean, the problem is with Corbelow you can't deliver him, I guess. Right? Because he moves 6. He needs a jump pack. He's actually discontinued. I don't even think you can buy the model at the moment, Eric. So maybe he's going to come back Primaris with a jump pack. I guess that's what we can all hope. Drop pod? Sure. I have a drop pod. I was going to start making it over the holidays. I didn't get to it, unfortunately. But maybe I'll... I don't know. I think the problem with Corbolo is that it's an aura. And also he's kind of pointy. 115 points. He doesn't... Yeah, I don't know, I feel like Corbolo's pointy. Like, he's too many points. He didn't drop in points, right? Like... Yeah, I'm convinced now. Let me see. Blood Angels. Yeah, I mean, Corbolo got no play currently. Like, no one in competitive play runs sim period. But he's still 115 points. He doesn't have a jump pack, which means he can't keep up with any of your units. He only has a 3-up, no invulnerable save, 3-up save. And he can't even Selfless Healer, even though he has the Chief Apothecary upgrade. Yeah, Corbolo's it's a missed opportunity for a good character, I guess. Thanks for the great winter break content and streams. Wish you had time off all the time. Yeah, me too, Stephen. Thank you so much for watching all the content over Christmas. I do appreciate it. How's the Terex drill? I've bought a Terex drill. Yeah, I like the Terex drill. I think it might be an option. I guess again it's got weaker because it didn't get any points drops. But I do think the Terax is okay. Maybe I'll run it in the next few months. None of the Forge World stuff dropped in points as far as I know. GW have been, I don't want to say neglecting the Forge World stuff, but it seems like it's been a lower priority for them. Yeah, so hit the like button before you leave the stream. And if you have any other questions, put them in the comments or whatnot. Submit your army lists for the new stuff. I'm going to have to figure out a tactics video for this week, actually. I have no idea what I'm making. I have literally no idea what I'm making. So, if there is... Yeah, I've got no idea. Literally no idea. If anyone's got suggestions for a tactics video this week that would make sense with the new rules. You can also submit boarding actions lists. Yeah, cool. I was going to look at some of them as well. Plasma Inceptors and how to run them. I don't fucking know how to run them, Mike. Every time I run them, they're useless. Yeah. Okay, I'll think of something. Anyway, have a nice night. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys sometime this week, I'm sure. Alright. Non-Death Company and Sangry Guard lists. Well, I mean, I'll be able to tell you more about Non-Death Company and Sangry Guard lists after I go to this event next week. Enjoy your evening, guys. We'll catch you then.